right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I call this meeting of Independent School District 544 to order. Clerk, will you establish a quorum for us, please?
Matt Lemke.
Here.
Tarma Carlson here. Jeff Foreman.
Here.
Melanie Cole.
Here.
Wayne Danielson.
Here.
Daryl Tunset.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We need to approve the agenda. There was just some additions with personnel and one other, just a first reading on the policy. With those changes, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda passes. Moving on to acknowledgements, we want to say thank you to Dorothy and Jean Porter for their donation of $25 in the memory of Lorraine Bonnickson. The donation will be placed into the Otter Angel account for the purpose of providing meals to economically disadvantaged students. So thank you for that donation. Moving on to reports, we have Tarma Carlson first with Lakes Country Service Co-op Board and Wellness.
And neither of those have met since I last reported, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. Melanie Cole, Special Ed Co-op, Region 1 in negotiations.
The Special Ed Co-op met yesterday, and as part of the Executive Director's report, Shannon Harrison talked about the parent advisory group that we run locally, and then there's also a statewide group of the same nature. And just to give, it's to be informed about policies, practices. It's not a format to complain, but a format to make a change and make a difference. So through her, I'm making a pitch for anybody that's interested. There is a requirement that you have a child with disabilities to be on the special ed advisory board. But that is something that she works on both locally and statewide. Other than that, the business at that board was not particularly noteworthy, just run of the mill. For Region 1, we had a meeting first part of the year, set our practices, meeting practices for the rest of the year, talked about the budget, which is in good shape and nothing out of the ordinary. For negotiations, our special ed pairs have a tentative agreement, and so that's good. And then Mark, you want to update on the rest of the?
We also have a tentative agreement with the custodian secretary groups. Those are the two largest of the remaining non-certified groups. We have 3 left to go, and they mentioned they don't want to meet during the summertime. So
Okay. So making some progress on that, and that's all I have.
Any questions for Melanie? Thank you, Melanie. Blaine Danielson, Policy and Curriculum Review.
Neither one of those groups have met since last time I reported. Regarding the policy, we do have a first reading coming up here of a new policy from the state regarding student surveys. So we'll have that later in the meeting.
Thank you, Blaine. Jeff Foreman, Staff Development and Buildings and Grounds.
Staff Development Committee hasn't met. For whatever reason, I can't get into my notes, but Buildings and Grounds, obviously quite a bit going on in the summer electrical project. Mark is
starting to finish up. We have a drainage project that just got underway down here at the football field entrance. The sidewalk over here is about halfway complete. Nothing on the roof over at Adams yet. That was going to be a late start. We did that from the get-go. That's
otherwise just the general
guttering or all waxing floors, exactly.
kind of stuff.
Yep.
So that's all I have.
Any questions for Jeff? Thank you, Jeff. Minnesota High School League, they met this past, actually yesterday, Sunday, and I believe today they're meeting. So there is no synopsis to give you on what they are discussing. The 544 Finance, I have nothing to report. 544 Education Foundation, we actually meet this Thursday. so I have nothing to report for them. The one thing I just wanted real quickly, I was down at MSBA, and one thing that I thought was interesting is we talk a lot about unfunded mandates and requirements from the state. This past year was not a financial funding year for us as a school district for the most part. But anyway, they did pass though, which was really interesting, this session alone, 20 new school district and board requirements and 18 new required reports that the state passed to go back to the school districts to now have to do. And granted, these are all unfunded, there is no additional money for them. And so it's just kind of an interesting side bit that they were talking about, or a discussion that they were having about the requirements that school districts are now being required to submit to the state. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, and that's all I have to report. Any questions for me? Gerald Tungstead, lead and confer and legislative liaison.
Okay, I don't have much to report either. There's still talk of a special session of the legislature, but nothing's happened down yet. If they do meet, they'll be with tax cuts and bonding, basically, but we'll see if that happens.
Any questions for Darrell? Thank you, Darrell. Superintendent Ness.
Well, August is a get ready for school month, so it's a lot of things happening starting today. We have, excuse me, our physical education crew is coming in today and being trained on the new heart monitors and that system. We have the Google Summit is also the pre-day is today, so we have the tech guys in today doing the infrastructure in the background of the Google system, and then tomorrow we'll have about 160 staff members in the area, and I think 16 in Fergus Falls staff will be here to attend the Google Summit. Next Monday is fall sports are starting out, and then also we have a training for our PLC leadership group, so we'll be over there. And the 16th, we have special ed para training. The 17th, the principal retreat. 25th, new teacher training, and we're having an office staff meeting. The 26th, something new this year, we have a regional response, rapid response team that is meeting, and I'm a member of that. We have a number of superintendents, counselors, nurses, lots of different personnel. If there's an emergency in a school, a big happening, there's a tornado, there's a suicide, there's something going on this big, this rapid response team would go to that site and help them with the background stuff. So just whether it's helping write a press release, just helping out in any way we can. The 29th, we start with the fall in service, so that Monday, we're doing a work day along with principal meetings with the staff. Tuesday, we have a new evaluation training. Our big focus this year is questioning and discussing techniques along with designing coherent instruction. We have 2 speakers coming in for those. And then our principals will be also teaching 2 sessions on communicating with families, the 2-way communication that our goal is, and then student behavior management, so working with that. Wednesday, we have open houses, so our elementaries are open from 5 to 7 p.m. and 5 to 8 p.m. for the older kids, the 6 through 12, both here at Kennedy and Roosevelt, 5 to 8. And then Thursday is the district meeting, and then in the afternoon we have more health curriculum training along with PLC meetings. So, and Otter Pride Night, September 16th. So that's the second football. The first football game is September 2nd against Albany, and then the 16th, I believe, is versus DL. So that'll be a big one. So lots happening, and it's coming quickly. So exciting.
Any questions for Superintendent Ness? Thank you. Moving on to our general consent items. We have the minutes for the July 18, 2016 school board meeting. Bills and treasurer's report, Blaine Danielson.
Jeff and I met with Mark earlier this morning and went over the bills, and everything looks good. So we had about 3.7 bills paid out last month, so recommend that we pay the bills.
Thank you, Blaine. Personnel, Superintendent Ness.
Yes, Eric Strom is our new grounds custodian, replacing Doug Nelson. Tony Cantrella is returning for our in-school suspension supervisor and does some other noon hour work for us. And we also have a resignation in our cafeteria, Lisa Brown. I believe she said yesterday she's worked here 22 years, so lots of experience walking out the door. I hate to see that happen. Also, we have a retirement in Jean Larrabee, but you'll see later in the agenda that she'll be returning to work on a part-time basis. School staff, staff resignations, Mandy Ellison, our school nurse, Ben Johnson, auto teacher, and then hires. Interesting one that the public might be interested in, we're hiring a counselor for Hillcrest. Funds are channeled through the public school, so Angela Paulson is the new Hillcrest counselor, so she will be working full-time, or a little over half-time at Hillcrest, has no responsibilities with our district. Paul Scholl is additionally added some special ed time at the ALC. Tricia Grove is being returned as a special education teacher with IQ Academy. And then Kyle Reelan is an elementary teacher at Cleveland, and that is the 4th grade position. So the interview, met him yesterday, a lot of enthusiasm and energy with that young man, so it's fun to see. And then we have, the last one is a return to work agreement with Gene Larrabee at a little over half-time, so that's 93 days.
Do we have a motion to approve the general consent items?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
No second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? General consent items passed. There is no old business. Moving on to new business, we have the 2016-2017 Fergus Falls School District goals. It talks about to see the attached document that will be made available to all of our staff. Superintendent Ness, do you want to go over that? Just
Yeah, so grab that. Have it. There we go.
Well, the notice, we had some notice yesterday, the mission statement, the mission of the Fergus Falls Public Schools is to prepare all students to be productive citizens through academic excellence in partnership with families and community. What I would like the board to note from our retreat, all students to be would be additional language. So you'll have to decide, a little discussion before, once you get a motion and a second to add, if you want to add in the all students, which Matt had talked about at the MSBA. So that's it there. Basically, our goals are remaining the same. They're the world's best workforce goals, along with the one for two-way communication. And really they expand, they're good goals in the sense that they expand the range of coming into kindergarten through graduation. So I guess I like them in that sense. So really it's all about getting ready for kindergarten, achieving reading literacy proficiency at 3rd grade, closing all achievement gaps, attaining, being college ready, and then graduating, and then along with our two-way communication. At our principal retreat next week, we're taking each one of these and breaking them down and what are the strategies. So we need building goals. And really these are the goals for the building as well, but how is each building going to help reach these? So we'll be working on that along with our PLCs and the individual goals. So it's really the school board goals, the building goals, the PLC goals, and then the individual goal, all working together in one fashion. So that's what we're doing there. So I guess your point of discussion would be is the all students, if you wanted to add that part to the mission statement.
Does anybody have any discussion on that to be that, or? I guess for me personally, it was just when we were down at the, when I was down at the MSBA, the summer convention, they were just talking about the importance of having all, that there's a, which I think was implied, but to have it there to make sure that not only that are we trying to meet our excellent students that are, say, gifted in talent, but those that are maybe in the middle that we sometimes can forget, and even some of those that are struggling, that we make sure that we bring all students up, and that is our ultimate goal, which I think is just something just to reinforce. And the other thing I will talk about just in our goals ourselves, the commissioner, if she was sitting right here, it was interesting, she shared, because they are off of the world's best workforce, she reiterated the importance of those goals, and that they're concise, they're something that everybody can look at to try to attain, and that it's, again, she just went out and talked about it just in her own comments, kind of a Q&A session with her, so it was good to hear that too.
Can you reread it in its entirety?
Yes, the mission of the Fergus Falls Public Schools I'll read it the way it was, and then I'll read it with the add word, okay? So it's the mission of the Fergus Falls Public Schools is to prepare productive citizens through academic excellence in partnership with families and community. And then the additional words here would be the mission of the Fergus Falls Public Schools is to prepare all students to be productive citizens through academic excellence in partnership with families and community. So you're adding in the all students to be productive.
So do we have a motion?
I move we approve the additional wording and the goals that has listed.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? The other word that was brought up was excellence, and it's good that we already had that, so I thought that was kind of a side to it that they had, so I thought that was kind of good too, so. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The 2016-2017 post-secondary or PSEO administration contract between M-State and ISD 544. This is a yearly contract for students to attend PSEO classes at M-State. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Jeff. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have a resolution authorizing the awarding of the sale of 1.5 million taxable general obligation, open
You missed it.
At the very end.
Oh, there we go,
Yes.
sorry. We have a first reading, thank you, of policy 520, student survey. There is no action on this. This is student districts are required by statute to have a policy addressing student surveys. So this is just for our review.
And typically, the only survey is the Minnesota survey, and it's given every 3 years. It's given to, I believe, 6th grade, 9th grade, and juniors now. We just did it this past year, so it won't come up again for 3 more years. But again, required survey. Mainly, it's talking about making sure we're informing the parents that this is happening, and then they can opt out if they'd like to, so.
Or preview the test beforehand, I guess, too, I think it was said.
Okay, item number 4. Resolution authorizing and awarding the sale of 1.5 million taxable general obligation and aid anticipation certificate of indebtedness of 2016 and fixing form and terms thereof and providing for utilization of State of Minnesota Credit Enhancement Program. Mark, would you like to just talk about the highlights of this?
Sure, this is the borrowing that we do annually to meet cash flow purposes during the school year, because the state, when they pay us, pays us in an irregular fashion. Last year, we borrowed 2.7 million. This year, we're borrowing 1.5, just because our economic situation is improving. Yesterday, we sold these bonds through our financial advisor, and we had 2 bidders, Northland Securities and Oppenheimer and Company. Oppenheimer, by the way, is out of Philadelphia, and Northland is out of Minneapolis. Northland won the bid with a 1.3816% interest rate, which is starting to go up, but it's still pretty low for what we have here. And so I would recommend that we accept the bid from Northland, and that's all through this resolution.
This resolution is 6.5 pages long. I am not going to read the 6.5 pages long resolution. If you would like to look at the actual physical resolution of it, you can go to our website. It'll be posted tomorrow, correct?
Whenever, Jess usually does it within the same day that I get the minutes out. I will get the minutes out today, so.
So would somebody like to offer the resolution and move for its adoption to award it to Northland Securities, Inc., as it says in the resolution?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Daryl Tunstead?
Yes.
Melanie Cole?
Yes.
Tyler Carlson, yes. Matt Lemke?
Yes.
Jeff Harmon?
Yes.
Lee Danielson?
Yes.
The resolution passes.
Thank you. That concludes our regular school board meeting. Our next regular school board meeting will be Monday, August 22nd, 2016 at 7:15 a.m. right here at the Otter Community Room at Kennedy Secondary School. Following this, we will go into a work session to talk about the overview of the start of the school year. I will be giving an MSBA conference, summer conference update to the board, and then a plan for building tours to take place. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.